Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to create an income statement in Google Sheets. So the first thing you need to do is make sure your internet connection is turned on. Then open up the sheets with the raw data you'd like to convert into the statement. And what I have here is basically the year, all the months in the year, my revenue, and all the expenses. So you need all this to create the income statement. If your data isn't already sorted like this, you need to sort it properly because this will make it a lot easier to create statements. When creating an income statement, the three things you need to calculate are the profits, the gross profits, so what you have before you deduct the expenses. The next thing you calculate is your expenses throughout the year, and the last thing is your net profits, so the profits you have after you have deducted the expenses. So my revenue falls under the income category, and my cost of goods, salaries, adverts, maintenance, and insurance falls under the expenses category. Now, even though my cost of goods falls under the expenses category, it is traditionally calculated along with income. So as we create the statement, we're going to calculate it that way. So now just click on the plus icon on the left corner of the sheet to add a new sheet. And right now, what I want to do is just add a border to the corners. So I'm just going to reduce all these sides, the last one as well. Now I'm just going to fill all these sides with a color, which is in black. Then I'm going to scroll all the way to the other side and do that on the left as well. Then I'm going to scroll down and add a border to the bottom as well. And right now, I'm just going to expand this whole row. And here I'm just going to write 2024 income statement in all caps. And I'm actually going to cut this from here and move it to the third column. Then I'm going to select all the other columns all the way from where I wrote my text. And I'll just merge the cells by clicking this that says merge cells. Now, if you'd like, you could change the font style here, but make sure you keep it professional. I'm going to select impact and make the text bigger. Now I'm just going to reduce this second column a bit. I don't need it that wide. And I'm going to fill this whole row. I'm going to make this color green. And right here, I'm just going to enter income in all caps and enter the months in the year. Once you write the first one, you can simply click and drag the blue corner for the other months. You see that it applies. And right here, I'm just going to enter year total. And since I don't need these other columns, I'm just going to select them and delete. Now I'm just going to select all the columns except the last two and the first two. Then I'm going to right click and select resize columns. I'm going to make mine 80. Next, I'll just select all the dates of the month and my income and change the font style to impact, what I use here. So make sure you stay consistent with your font style, and I'll align all this in the center. Next thing I'm going to do is give this whole thing a color. I'm going to stick with this, and I'll merge these two cells and increase the font size of income. And you can choose any color you want for this, but just make sure you keep it professional. I don't think that this looks very professional, so I'm going to change it to this green, a darker shade of green. Same with the income. And under income here, I'm going to write revenue and cost of goods. Now head back to your other sheets and copy everything under the two categories you just wrote. You can do this by right-clicking and selecting copy. And right here, right-click, select paste special, then transposed. Now I'm just going to expand this column a bit And underneath my revenue and cost of goods, I'm going to write gross total. And we are going to calculate the total of all this for each month. And I'll change this to gross profits instead. To subtract the cost of goods from the revenue, enter equals, then select the first revenue, enter minus, and select cost of goods, and hit enter. And you'll see the results of subtracting your cost of goods from your revenue. And to apply this, simply click and drag the blue corner to all the other columns. Now to calculate the year total, enter equals sum and open brackets, then click and drag to select all the numbers under your revenue and close it with a bracket. Then hit enter and you'll get the sum of all your revenue for each month. Now to apply the same formula to the second one, the cost of goods, click and drag the blue corner. And if you'd like, you can select all this and add a border. I'm going to do that and select this one. Now I'm going to select all this once again and select align in center. And as for the revenue, cost of goods, and gross profit, I'm going to make the text bold. Now I'm just going to customize this a bit by changing the color here, making it green on this side as well. And I'll also do the same with the bottom, make that green as well. And I'm going to select all the numbers under my revenue, cost of goods, and gross profits, except the yearly total. And I'm going to add this border to it. And I'm going to select this at the top as well and add a border. Now for the next section, I'm going to select this whole top and right click to copy. Then I'm going to paste it right here. And instead of income, I'm going to enter expenses. And I'll change the color. I'll make it red. Same with all the months and the year total. Now for the expenses section, I'm going to head back to the other sheets and select all this, right click to copy, and then I'm going to head back to the sheets, right click, select paste special, then transposed. Make sure your text here is all caps, then head back to the other sheet and select all the information under the sections you copied earlier on. Then right click and select copy, then head back, right click, select paste special, then transposed. And double check the original sheets to make sure you copied everything you need to. I'm going to write total expenses and I'll make the text bold. And to calculate this, simply enter equals sum and open brackets, then click and drag to select everything for that month, close it with a bracket and hit enter. And to apply the formula to the other months, click and drag the blue corner. Total, use the same formula, but instead of selecting all the things for the month, you select all the months, close it with the brackets and hit enter. Then click and drag on the blue corner to apply it to the other rows. Now I'm going to select all this and I'll align it in the center. Then I'll add an outer border. Now I'm going to customize my expenses section like I did with my income section, but instead I'm going to make it a light shade of red. I'm also going to do the same thing with the bottom and the right as well. I'm going to select all this except the year total and add a border. Before I move on to the profit section, I'm going to scroll back up and select this and I'm going to align it in the center and add an outside border. Now I'm going to select all my totals and make the font bold. Next, we're going to create the profit section. So copy this whole top over here by right-clicking and selecting copy. Then paste it. And I'm going to replace expenses here with profits in all caps and hit enter. And I'm just going to change this color, make it a dark green. Same with all the months. And underneath profits here, I'm going to write net profits. Then I'll just make the text bold. And the net profit is basically your profit after you deduct your expenses. So to calculate that, enter equals, then select the first number under January, your gross profits, enter a minus, then select the first number for your total expense and hit enter. And now you have your net profits. To apply it to the other months, simply click and drag the blue corner, and that's it. And now I'll just customize this profit section like I did with the rest. Now we're pretty much done with this, but if you'd like, you could also add a chart at the bottom. I'm going to do that. So to do that, simply select everything under the income, expenses, and profits sections, except the year total. Selecting the year total could mess up the whole chart. Then head over to insert and select charts. Then scroll down and tick this box which says switch rows/columns. Then click on the three dots and select remove all series. Because it was looking quite messy, I'd like to select what should appear on the chart. Then select add series, and here you can add anything to this chart. I'm just going to select my gross profit, my total expense, and my net profit. And if you'd also like, you could customize it as well, remove the borders or the grid lines, just things like that, but I'm going to leave mine as is. And now I'm just going to move this chart down and I'll expand it to fit the sides. And since I'm done, I don't need all these other rows at the bottom. So I'm just going to select from here, scroll to the bottom, then hold down Shift on my keyboard and click the last row. Then I'm going to right click and delete all the rows. And finally, the last thing we're going to do is remove all these grid lines. We don't want it to show. If you want it to show, you could just leave it. But if you want to remove it, simply head over to View, then select Show, and untick grid lines. And here you see that it looks much better now. And that's all for today's video. I hope it helped you out. If it did, make sure to leave a like, share, and leave a comment below if you have any questions. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.